One of my viewers asked me the other day, I said 1.5 inches in one video and 1.25 in the other video. She asked which one is correct. It's not one is correct and the other is wrong. Hi, I'm Jin. Welcome to Pattern Studio 101. Today we're going to draft a dress block. I call it a dress block to separate it from a basic bodice block. A regular bodice block usually ends at the waist. The dress block we are going to make today goes down to the hip. From the shoulder to the waist, it's basically the same as a bodice block, but we're extending it so we can use it as a foundation for dresses and jackets. A bodice block or a dress block is a very basic and fitted pattern. It has no design details, no style lines, no flares, nothing decorative. It's just the body shape. This is the foundation of everything. It's really the most basic thing you need to understand in pattern making. Before we start drafting, I want to talk about fit for a minute. Some people believe that once you have a well-fitting bodice block, you can create any design from it. And since your block fits great, the garment you make from that block will always fit perfectly. It's like a well-fitted bodice block is a master key that works for every garment. But I have to say that's not true. Fit depends on many things. First, obviously the pattern itself. Even small differences in shaping can change the fit. So yes, we need to make good patterns. But another one, this is big, the fabric. If you use the same pattern but cut it in two different fabrics, they won't fit the same. Fabric weights, texture, stretch, and drape all matter. You create a block pattern and fit it with muslin. Let's say you found a great fit. If you use that block to make a design pattern and cut it with silk or wool or another type of cotton, do you think the fit stays? No. You cannot have the same fit even if you use the same pattern. And another thing you have to think about is body shape. This is also huge as well. Let's say there are two women here. They have exactly the same bust, waist, and hip measurement. On paper, they are the same size. But in real life, their body shapes are still different. Their body proportions, shoulder angles, postures, where they carry volume, all of that changes the fit. The human body is unique. If one pattern could fit everyone perfectly or every fabric, I don't think we need pattern makers. There are tons of patterns in the world already. I have been working as a pattern maker for decades. A pattern maker's main task is fitting a model and adjusting patterns. That's what I've done for 20-30 years. I've made thousands of patterns and I have a lot of them on my computer. So then, why do I still keep making new patterns? It's not only about design things. The fit is not determined by one factor. What you need to do is understand the process. How to draft a block, how to evaluate the fit, and how to adjust patterns. Drafting pattern is not the only thing. Formulas don't really matter most of the time. This is the mindset you should have when working with block patterns. So don't focus only on getting the block, focus on understanding how it works. So today's lesson, while we are creating a dress block, I'll explain a lot about the basics and theories of block patterns. So it will take 2-3 episodes to complete the block patterns. Okay, ready? Let's start with the measurement we need. To create a dress block, we need these measurements: bust, waist, and hip circumference, shoulder width, back length, and hip length. And these are example measurements for today's lesson. We're gonna need bust span, apex length, cup size when we draft the front. But we're gonna discuss it when we get there. Okay, let's start with a rectangle. Vertical is the back length. So my example is 42 centimeter. Horizontal is half of the bust circumference. You can add ease if you want, depending on what kind of blocks you're making. So in this example, this is 45 centimeter. Find a midpoint and draw a line. This is going to be the side seam. If you've been following me for a while, you might have noticed that I usually make the front slightly larger than the back for women's tops because of the bust. But since we're drafting a dress block today, I'm going to make the front and back the same. Let's find the underarm line. Go down a quarter of bust circumference, and I'll go up 1.5 centimeter and draw the underarm line. Let's talk about the armhole depth for a second. We calculated the armhole depth with the bust circumference. This is a good starting point if you don't know the exact armhole depth you want. But think about it. Someone's armhole depth, do you think it really depends on her bust circumference? Not really. It's more on her height. Then is there a specific measurement for each height? No, because people are all different. The armhole depth depends on a person's height and body shape, and also what kind of a garment you're making. If the garment is sleeveless, you might want to have a higher armhole depth. If you make a coat, you might want to have a bigger armhole depth. So the bust circumference divided by 4 minus 1.5 centimeter is a good starting point for the bodice pattern block making. If any other teachers or books teaches different ways, those are all the same good starting point. And you have to adjust it with the fitting process. Since this is the dress block, let's add the hip line. Extend the vertical line by your hip length. My example is 20 centimeter. And complete the small rectangles. This is going to be the center back. This is going to be the center front, underarm line, waistline, and the hip line. So this is the base frame for the dress block. Let's start with the back. We're gonna find the high shoulder point. From the center back neck point, the bust circumference divided by 12. Go up 2.5 centimeter. So this is the high shoulder point. You can draw the neck curve. We calculated this bust circumference divided by 12, a half of the neck width. So this is the actual neck width, which is 1/6 of the bust circumference. This is about 16.5% of the bust circumference. Is this work for everybody? Of course not. Is this work for any garment? Obviously it's not. But still, the bust circumference divided by 12 is a good starting point for the block pattern making. Think about it this way. If you're working with the bust circumference 83 centimeter, divided by 12 is 6.91. So almost 7 centimeter, right? If the bust circumference you're working on is 96 centimeter, 96 divided by 12 is 8 centimeter. This means when you create bodice block or just regular top patterns, half of the neck width can be anywhere between 7 to 8 centimeter. If your customer has kind of a thinner neck, you can go with 7 centimeter. If your model has kind of volumed neck, you can go with 8 or 8.5 centimeter as a starting point. I keep saying this. I really don't want you to memorize formulas. Instead, I want you to understand the ideas, the theories behind them. That way, you will be able to apply them more flexibly when you work with patterns. This height, back neck drop, 2.5 centimeter in this example. One of my viewers asked me the other day, I said 1.5 inches in one video and 1.25 in the other video. She asked which one is correct. It's not one is correct and the other is wrong. The backdrop can be a little bit bigger when the bust circumference is big, or when I make a men's pattern, I make the backdrop a little bit bigger, like even 4 centimeters, something like that. But for women's, between 2 and 3 centimeter would be good, and you're gonna adjust it in the fitting. Okay, shoulder width. The shoulder width of today's example is 35 centimeter, so divided by 2, 17.5 centimeter. I'm gonna go down 0.5 centimeter and draw the shoulder seam. I'm not going to have a shoulder dart on this block. If you want to create a bodice block with the shoulder dart at the back, watch this video, episode 109. I created the bodice block with the shoulder dart at the back. This shoulder angle also needs to be adjusted depending on your model's posture. Everyone has different shoulder angles. If you join my online course Mastering Pattern Blocks, you can learn all type of adjustment with the bodice block. If you're interested, head over to my website, patternstudio101.com. We're going to continue drafting in the next video. If you enjoyed this in any way, shape, or form, I would love it if you could like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thank you so much for supporting me. It means everything. Have an amazing week. See you next time. Hey, did you know I have a masterclass all about pants balance? I'll walk you through how to draft a solid pants base frame and how to fix balance issues, especially if you're working with existing patterns. So many fit problems can be solved just by understanding pant balance. If you're tired of guessing and want real clarity, head over to patternstudio101.com and check it out. You do not want to miss this.